In this episode, we'll be checking out the awesome new functionality in the latest update of StreamerBot. We'll see why it's a must-have upgrade, what you may need to change after upgrading, and how it makes it easier than ever to troubleshoot when things go wrong. Hello, and welcome to StreamerBot Bytes, where I cover how to set up and to make the most of the awesome StreamerBot. There is one video per topic to make it easy as possible to follow and find. When relevant, sample import code will be provided to make it even easier for you to get started and to add functionality to your stream. So let's get started with the topic for this video. First up, and the most obvious, is the user interface for StreamerBot. Whilst in the same style, the layout has changed. We've got additional changes like the save button is moved from the bottom to the top of the bot. We no longer have Connect to Twitch. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Instead of having Twitch tab, we have a Platforms tab. This is because natively StreamerBot has YouTube support now. This gives it the ability to react to chat messages, super chat, super stickers, and more. You can stream both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Commands can be shared, but they're likely to be separate. Some changes are in the bot, which are handled to minimize impact, so stay tuned to talk about potential issues and fixes ahead. So let's have a look. We have the Platforms tab now, and we have Twitch and YouTube. Channel points is no longer at the top level. Accounts is no longer under the settings, but these are very much unchanged. And you'll see under the accounts, the Connect to Twitch button this is the only place to access it now. We have new Broadcasters tab. So in addition to the OBS and Streamlabs desktop support, we have Polypop support here. So this is a rich 3D with physics-based environment that you can use to stream as an alternative to OBS or Streamlabs. We've got a bunch of integrations, and this is some of the really great stuff in 0.1.8. We have voice mod support. We have the awesome heart rate tracking services, Pulsoid and Hyperate. So not only can you work with the heart rate, you can do things like triggers when you have a certain heart rate level. You've got Tippy Stream and Treat Stream as ways to acknowledge events when you are tipped or treated. And the last in integrations, which is for me the biggest part here, is the StreamerBot website. This allows you to have Ko-fi integration as well as Patreon. But also, what you'll see if you go to the StreamerBot website after upgrading to 0.1.8 and logging in, you can then actually create a HTML deck, something like Touch Portal or Stream Deck on a mobile. But it's completely free. And this allows you to have a web-based deck to trigger actions. But not only for you, but it actually supports decks for people that you trust. For example, your moderators can do certain actions. You can create a deck just for your moderators and they can do certain triggers. Now let's go back to the import and export at the top. Historically, you'd right click and export from actions. But now in StreamerBot 0.1.8, you can export both actions and commands. So if you want to export a specific action and command, you can see by selecting the command, the actions are automatically selected. You may need additional actions that are required, but typically this will pick up everything you need by selecting the command. You can then export it to a file and share it to the community. This is a great addition. Also, when you're using import code, there's improvements on how C# code, on how references are handled, and you will likely not need to add references in after importing code from someone else. Just on a note of this, my new videos for StreamerBot will include commands. Another great thing is Fast Track. This is something I've created and you require a minimum of 0.1.8. This by far is the easiest way to upgrade your stream with over 50 commands. Check out vrflad.com/fasttrack for more information. Next up is Action Queues tab. This really is a big deal, especially for when things go wrong. You can see in real time what actions are pending in the list, so if lots of things going on. You can look at the variables, look at the timing of when it's been queued and started. When these actions are completed, you'll be able to see them in action history. Not only can you look at the details around the actions that have already run, but you can re-queue them. So you can play back the action just in the same way that it was originally triggered. You can modify the queues here rather than in settings. You can see the number of pending actions, how many completed. But this will allow you to troubleshoot a much richer way. To understand when something maybe stops working, you can understand which part of the queue, which action within it is causing that delay. You can then use additional details like the new log action in actions and a new log sub action to be able to put some details into the log to understand at what point of the action is failing. There's also a bunch of other great updates included. I'll call out a few of note here. If you want to check the whole list though, go to wiki.streamlio.bot and click on the change logs at the top left. So the things that stand out for me, the first one is additional actions for OBS scenes and voice control. We have better dialogues. So things like picking actions so they can be ordered in a way where you can easier find things to select or export. We've improved reading of random lines in text files, also improved picking of random users. So you can say how many of them you want, and then you can find out those in the variables as before. The settings have been split between two files now. This prevents potential corruption of the settings which was found in previous versions. There's been additional variables that have been added in, one for the Twitch first time chat indicator, and also the number of months subscribed has been added as well. In addition to this, the Twitch badges are now passed and added as arguments for relevant events, so you can further embrace customized responses around badges. And as mentioned previously, there's a new log sub-action. This makes it a lot easier to debug your actions when they go wrong, especially when using it with the action queues. Now let's look into the issues or potential issues you may be seeing by upgrading to 0.1.8. The first one that we've seen is sometimes actions do not trigger that used to. There's no real pattern here, so there's no real indicator. If you see this, the first thing to check is to go to the platforms, and then under platforms to Twitch, disconnect from Twitch, forget the broadcaster account, and then once that's been done, reconnect to Twitch, or you'll be prompted again to authorize the bot. And at that point, give that a try. Next up is things where commands aren't showing the user information or don't process correctly. These are typically commands that will use broadcaster information or the user that's triggered the command, which would generally be the streamer at this point. Because of multiple platforms now, the bot cannot assume that it's always from Twitch. So if you're triggering an event from voice control or things like Stream Deck, Touch Portal, or the HTML decks, you might need to let the bot know what certain variables are. This is a simple fix and the import code is added in the description below. So let's have a look at an example of the kind of action that could be impacted here. So I've got a play sound. As part of this, it sends a Twitch message saying thank you to the user for redeeming the sound play action. If this is triggered by a command through Twitch, the bot knows this has been originated from Twitch, and if it's a broadcaster, it's fine. If we're launching this via voice control, it no longer knows that this should be using the Twitch details. Within the description below, a example import, and we're going to import that using the new import option here. And we can see there's two actions added. So it's handle, control, user variables. So this is a fix. And what this does is gets the Twitch broadcaster information and sets additional variables that you may be using from the broadcaster. Then what you have here is handle voice control user variables. So I've used voice control here, but this does apply to Stream Deck, Touch Portal, etc. And this sub-action is all you need to add in. So you copy that sub-action, and then we're going to go to the sound player. And we paste that sub-action in at the very top. Always put this at the top. So if the user does not exist, do handle voice control user variables. So what's going to happen here is whenever this runs, if it's done from a device that doesn't populate the user variables, it's going to do that for you before it then resumes. The next known issue is that you can't downgrade the bot once upgrading. This is because now the settings has two files, actions.json and settings.json. This was done to prevent corruption. If you want to go back to an earlier version of the bot, you need to restore from the backup in the backup folder. There'll be a link to the how to restore from backup video in the description below. And finally, the least likely issue you're going to see is the fact that StreamerBot is now 64-bit. This means you need a 64-bit version of Windows. So do look at upgrading StreamerBot to 0.1.8 today, and keep an eye on those changelogs to see what exciting new additions are coming to the next version. Please like and subscribe to be notified of more videos like this. If there's a topic you'd like covered, please do let me know in the comments or on Discord. Check out my Twitch stream to see the bot in action and for other examples. The links to my Twitch, social media and to StreamerBot can be found at vrflad.com. Additional links to others that provide StreamerBot content can be also found in the description. Finally, thank you Nate for making a great bot, and please consider supporting his Patreon, which is linked from streamer.bot.